Welcome to the Bipolar Buzz podcast, where we slice stigma surrounding mental illness one episode at a time, and we give others courage to do the same. I am your host, Lay, a wife, mom, daughter, sister, coworker, and friend who also lives with bipolar 1 disorder. So, without further ado, let's slay. Hey, welcome to the Bipolar Buzz podcast. My name is Lay. I am your host, and today I have as my guest a very special friend, Lety. Hey, Lety, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. So happy and honored to be here.
Great. Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
I am a work from home mom, entrepreneur mom. My business is lifted by Lety, and I'm a balloon artist. And I am also a mom of two boys, ages 4 and 1.
Okay.
Oh, and I was diagnosed with a generalized anxiety disorder.
Okay, awesome. So today we're going to be talking about kind of mental health and the peripartum experience. So peripartum, for those who don't know, just meaning the time period before, during, and after childbirth. And so we're going to do a special focus on anxiety today. So Lety, can you tell us how you came about receiving your diagnosis of generalized anxiety disorder?
Yeah, so after I had my first son, I experienced a heightened sense of fear that was pretty irrational. Like I was scared of every little thing, which caused a lot of stress in my life, physically, emotionally. But over time, it did kind of subside. But then when I had my 2-year-old, I'm sorry, my 1-year-old, he acts like a 2-year-old. That's why. Um, but after my second son was born, it became uncontrollable. Like the fear was like 2 times worse than what it was when I had my first son. And I would just remember holding in like a lot of stress, a lot of fear. And because I wasn't taking good care of myself, I wasn't eating properly, I wasn't sleeping properly. Having a toddler and a newborn and being a work from home mom for the first time, it was a lot. It was a heavier load than I recognized at that moment. I had always been working up until that point, and so being home and taking care of my kids full time while also trying to make additional income on the side. I think I just my body was in overdrive, my mind was in overdrive, and it was malnourished and it wasn't being taken care of. And so one day I was sitting on the couch. I had just finished up some work. I had just ordered groceries. Um, and I was sitting on the couch watching cartoons with my son when all of a sudden I felt like a crazy sensation in my head. Like, the only way I can describe it, like if I got like electrocuted, it was like a zap in my head, and it freaked me out so bad. Um, I started to see blurry. I started to lose feeling in my fingers, my arms. It was getting hard to breathe. And I tried to call my husband because I was at home by myself at the time with the kids. I tried to call my husband, and I wasn't getting any signal, and so I started freaking out even more because I was like, what if like something is happening to me and I'm here alone with my boys? Like it just
Right.
scared me so bad, and so I finally was able to get through to him, and at that point, I literally just like my fingers were like locked, like I couldn't like they were like this, like they were like locked. I couldn't open them, I couldn't move them. But I was able, like, I was like trying to dial 911 with my knuckles.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I called the paramedics. They came, my husband came within 10 minutes, and they took me to the hospital. They ran a bunch of tests in my brain. They did some heart tests, and they came back and said that it was a panic attack. And I was like, there's no way. Like I
Right. Are you
was
kidding me?
almost dying. Like
Oh
there's
my
no way
gosh.
there was a panic attack. I wasn't even like nothing triggered it. Like I wasn't scared. Like I wasn't, I was just sitting on the couch, but my body felt all that stress. My mind felt like my mind was in panic mode because I wasn't taking care of myself. And everything like was just building up, building up, building up. That day, I hadn't drank any water or eaten any food. And it
Oh
was
my
like
gosh.
3 p.m. because I was trying to make sure my boys had eaten. I was trying to make sure I got work done. I was trying to make sure I did grocery shopping. And then when I finally like relaxed for a second, that's when like everything like came crashing down. And so having that panic attack was one of the scariest things I've ever gone through in my life because at that moment I did feel like I was dying. Like I told my husband finally got there, my brain felt like it was like splitting in half. Like I just didn't know what was going on with me. Like I thought I was having like a brain aneurysm, a heart attack. I didn't know what I was going through, but I knew like something is happening to me, and I'm freaked out. And so that feeling like was just so terrifying that after I had the panic attack, my anxiety just went through the roof. Like I became scared of being
Mm.
scared. And so I was always in a state of anxiety because I was experiencing physical symptoms of anxiety. Even if my mind wasn't worried, my body felt the like the tension. So up until recently, I've been experiencing facial spasms. I would get facial spasms. I would have a lump in my throat that nothing would make it go away. So I always felt
Mm.
like I was like choking on something. I would have like it was hard to sleep because my head hurt constantly from all the tension and anxiety that I was holding in. I couldn't sleep, which only made anxiety worse. Um, I was just experiencing a lot of like physical, like my body felt tense. Um, I felt like I couldn't,
Yeah.
like my vision got worse from it all. Like it was just a lot
Ah,
of physical symptoms that were making my mind freak my body out. So it was just a cycle between my head and my body. Like they were just freaking each other out. So I finally went to the doctor and explained all my symptoms, my panic attack, and they diagnosed me with generalized anxiety disorder.
that is a wild story. Like it's crazy to me how much your physical health can impact your mental health, and the reverse is also true, as you were saying when you were telling about all these symptoms that happened to you and everything that led up to your panic attack, that you hadn't been taking care of yourself as far as like sleeping and eating and all of that. And you remind me a lot of myself when you said you were making sure that everybody else was okay, but you kind of put yourself on the back burner, and it kind of it took a toll on your own health. And I can definitely relate to that, being a mom myself and a wife myself, and also having a mental illness too. So that right there, I think, is so important for people to understand. It's just that you got to take care of you before you can be okay enough to take care of other people.
Yes.
And I think that is like one of the big takeaways from what you just said,
Yeah.
sharing your experience. But what does your like your treatment for anxiety or your self-care look like? Like what has helped you the most as far as recovering from your anxiety?
So when I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, they did prescribe me some medication, and I'm pro medicine because I have family members who also suffer from anxiety and depression, and their medication has helped them tremendously, um, and I'm so thankful that they've been consistent, and
Mhm.
just how much healthier they are these days because of the medication. Um, Even though I am pro medication, I did want to try out some different methods, and I tried a lot of things. I tried CBD oil. I tried I think that was my I tried CBD oil, and I think I tried ashwagandha too. Ashwagandha was okay. It wasn't really like it wasn't like a dramatic help. But
Uh-huh.
what I found that has helped me the most was actually taking care of my gut, like taking care of my gut and health and my body. I didn't realize how like it's like a direct link apparently between your gut and your brain. And so once I started targeting like my physical health and eating better, eating more nutrient rich foods,
Mhm.
taking gut health supplements such as prebiotics and probiotics, magnesium, taking all those nutrients has helped me so much because it was something that my body was lacking. So I haven't like growing up, we grew up kind of poor. So I haven't always had like the best nutrition. And even as into adulthood, like I still haven't made the best decisions nutrition wise. You know, I make sure that my kids eat their vegetables, but I was not eating vegetables. Like I
Hmm.
was not getting vitamins and things that I needed as well. And so once I started implementing those things into my life, I've I've seen a dramatic change. I'm finally able to manage anxiety. Another thing that helped is going to therapy. So I am seeing a therapist, and just being able to talk out like things that I may be holding in. I don't often like to like share things that are wrong with me, like in general, like
Who does?
you know, like I usually like, try to focus like on the positive things, but
Hmm.
like you just can't ignore it. And I think for in one way I'm really thankful for the anxiety disorder because it brought so much to light that I needed to work on. And
Wow.
so I was holding on to so much trauma from childhood, and giving birth to my son, um giving birth a second time, it brought back a lot of childhood trauma of feelings
Wow.
of being unprotected, feelings of being unloved. Like it brought back so many, like I guess, triggers that that's also what affected me mentally. And so I'm glad that I'm able to now like face things, you know, on the forefront instead of trying to like suppress everything and then my body reacts because I'm trying to suppress it. So yeah, taking care of my body nutrition wise, seeking therapy, and also like one very major like step that I had to do is stop being afraid of being afraid,
Wow.
because being fearful of fear just fed my fear even more. And
It's
it
like a
was
never ending cycle.
it was a never ending cycle. And so I remember one day I was like, you know what? The next time I get like a physical symptom of anxiety, I'm just gonna let it be. Like if my face starts twitching, I'm just gonna let my face twitch. If my heart starts palpitating, I'm just gonna let it palpitate. And the more that I ignored the symptoms, crazy. Like I know, like usually if your heart's doing something, you kind of want to give it some attention.
Right.
But the less attention that I gave to it, the less I would feel it. And now, like I feel I'm almost like symptom free. I'm almost there.
That's amazing.
I'm almost there. Yes.
That is amazing. And I think it's so important for people to understand too that a lot of times triggers and things that cause our mental health diagnoses to kind of come up, like it is rooted in childhood. And a lot of times we don't understand that until it happens. And then you go talk to somebody and they reveal all these things, and you're like, wow, I didn't realize the connection, between
Mhm.
whatever happened to me in childhood and what's going on now, or the connection between maybe how I wasn't eating right and how that's affecting me now and how that's affecting my kids. So what do you think having this disorder, being diagnosed with it, and also going through the recovery period, how has that helped you to be a better mom to your boys?
It has helped me to it may sound counterintuitive, but it has helped me to put me first, you know?
Hmm. Yeah,
It has helped
it
me,
does sound counterintuitive, but continue.
but now that I am taking better care of myself and feel healthy and feel less worried, I'm more of a present mom. I'm more of a interactive mom. I'm able to share the peace and love and joy that I feel inside with my children. And
Mm,
because honestly, one thing that I was worried about when I was going through peak anxiety is that my kids would pick up on it. And I feel like my oldest, he was 3 at the time. This all happened June of last year, so it's been
okay.
9 months. I felt like my 3-year-old at the time. I noticed him starting to be like scared of little things. Like he was starting to become fearful, and I was worried that I was somehow like passing that along to him. Maybe like he felt it because I'm with him all the time. Like there's no way to like be able to hide what you're going through, what you're feeling. Even if you put on a smile on your face, like kids know, they're intuitive.
Right.
You're their
Hmm.
mom, you know, they can pick up what you're feeling. And so I did feel like he was picking up on that. And so um now that I'm less scared, I don't know, I feel like he's picking up on that too. Now he's more social, like he's starting to like trying to branch out, do things on his own.
That's
Before he
good.
was like next to me, like hugging onto my leg, and now whenever we go anywhere, he's like trying to make friends with people. And I just feel like it's helping me as a mom to be an example of mental health for my children and prioritize your health and prioritize taking care of yourself and showing them that that's a form of self-love.
Hmm.
And I truly believe that like love can heal most anything. Most anything. Like if you experience true love, or even if you just love yourself truly, it can help you heal in so many aspects. And so that was another thing that I had to go through is learning to love myself and showing myself that I am worthy, I'm valuable, and that I'm worthy of being taken care of. So I gotta take care of myself.
That's right. And I think that especially women and moms, like in society, you're expected to be the one to take care of, take care of everybody, of your kids, even of your husband sometimes, making sure there's food cooked and ready on the table, making sure the house is nice and clean all the time. There's so many expectations that society put on women that I feel like it almost makes you afraid to take care of yourself because you feel like when I take care of myself, that's taking time away from all these other things that I'm supposed to be doing. But like you said, when you don't take care of yourself, everything else is around you is probably going to fall apart. And that's what we don't want. Like the self-care and the self-love is so critical to making sure that the rest of your life is also functioning the way that it should function.
Yes, that's so true.
Hmm.
True.
So, what would you say to a mom or a mom to be, just about managing mental health? Or, like, do you have any tips or advice on how to make sure that you stay mentally well?
I would say I think everybody should have a therapist,
Mm.
whether you're a mom or no matter where you are in your life. I feel like you need some form of professional help in your life. Um, doesn't have to be for life. It could just be for a season, but
Hmm.
at least have someone help you work through emotions in a healthy way, help you work through stress in a healthy way, help you identify any red flags in yourself, you know,
Hmm.
so that you can grow as a person and truly heal. I mean, we all have some form of healing to do, you know, because we're all a little broken because
Hmm.
whoever raised us may have been a little broken, and but it's not too late to repair and heal. And so I would just say the earlier that you can get professional help, the better, so that way you can have some groundwork so that you can be a healthy mom, a healthy wife, just a healthy person just for you.
Right.
So that'd be
That's
my tip.
awesome. Awesome advice. And I would agree with that. And I also just want to add that having a therapist doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. You don't have to have a diagnosis to go to see a therapist or to talk through anything that you might need to talk through. And it also doesn't mean that you're weak. It's actually a very strong thing to be vulnerable, especially with a complete stranger, and trust them to help you through and to help you heal from whatever it is that has broken you.
So
So,
true.
yes, great advice. Well, Lety, thank you so much for being on the Bipolar Buzz podcast. We really enjoyed having you.
Thank you for having me and for allowing me to just share my story. I mentioned to you earlier, this is the first time I've been able to speak up about it, and even opportunities like this is very healing for me as well. So I appreciate you and your platform and everything that you're doing to help others.
Thank you. And thank you. I'm sure that your story has helped others as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Bipolar Buzz podcast, where we have the courage to slay stigma. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe for more and share with a friend.